Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, November 17th. Tonight, we'll have details on a tragic student death and the upcoming candlelit vigil being held in downtown.
We also have details on the defamation lawsuit involving InfoWars founder Alex Jones, along with your weekly COVID-19 update.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Carlos Garcia.
And I'm Madison Miller. This week, Penn State students are mourning the death of their fellow classmate and friend, Justine Gross. Justine was reported missing Thursday night after last being seen in her off-campus apartment building the day before. On Friday, she was reportedly found deceased. Justine was a third-semester student in the Penn State College of Liberal Arts. Her friends and family describe her as, quote, being a ray of sunshine with a laugh and smile that could brighten anyone's day. The Center County coroner stated that her tragic death was an isolated accidental incident. Anyone with further information is encouraged to contact the police or submit an anonymous tip on their website. A vigil is being held at 6:30 p.m. at off-campus apartment building Beaver Terrace on Thursday.
The Downtown State College Improvement District is ready to light up the college for the holidays, with the second annual Light Up Downtown event kicking off on November 18th. The family-friendly event invites children to enjoy hot cocoa, popcorn, balloon animals, and activities at MLK Plaza from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. There will also be a visit from Santa, where some children will be selected to ride alongside him on the Downtown State College trolley. The evening's main event, the timed lighting ceremony, will take place between MLK Plaza and Calder Walkway, which is located between Fraser and Pew Streets. The event also brings together State College residents for multiple good causes. Families who visit with Santa at MLK Plaza are invited to bring a new toy for Toys for Tots or a non-perishable item for the State College Food Bank for a donation.
The nation has been dealing with a public health crisis for the past 2 years. COVID-19 still plays a major part in day-to-day life, with vaccinations, positive cases, and possible exposures impacting events around the country.
PSN News brings you the latest COVID-19 stats from both Center County and the nation. Here is your weekly update.
State College Borough Council voted to temporarily extend a COVID-19 ordinance requiring masks to be worn in businesses and other places open to the public until December 7th. The ordinance was originally passed on September 13th and was set to expire on November 22nd. Since late August, Center County and most of Pennsylvania had been at the highest level of transmission on the CDC scale, which is defined as 100 or more new cases per 100,000 people. The CDC recommends masks be worn in public settings. As of Tuesday morning, Mount Nittany Medical Center had a total of 31 COVID-19 inpatients.
The number of COVID cases in the United States has seen a slight incline over the last 7 days, as there has been a 6.5% positive rate, with 73,249 tests coming back positive. As the holidays are rapidly approaching, Americans should expect an increase in these numbers. As of November 15th, 193,805,327 citizens are fully vaccinated, accounting for almost 59% of the population. Additionally, more than 227 million individuals have received at least one COVID vaccine. Coming up next, Lexi Lideline has the latest stories on Penn State sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Lexi Lideline with your sports update. Penn State women's basketball took care of business Tuesday night in the Bryce Jordan Center, winning their third game of the season. The Lady Lions dominated the Delaware State Hornets with a final score of 120-51. This record-breaking performance topped Penn State's previous single-game points record of 118 from December 29, 1993 against Morgan State. Junior guard McKenna Marisa recorded the first triple-double since Susie McConnell in 1988. Marisa contributed 30 points, 11 assists, and 10 steals to tie the single-game record. Teammates Nia Beverly and Tova Sable also contributed 17 points, as well as Anna Camden with 14 points. Penn State is now 3-0 on the season. The Lady Lions will hit the road as they travel to take on the Clemson Tigers next Sunday. The game tips off at 2 p.m. and will be available to watch on the ACC network. After their 2-0 win over Indiana to capture the Big Ten championship, Penn State men's soccer has earned themselves an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament and more. The Nittany Lions' impressive regular and postseason earned them the number 12 seed in tournament play, as well as a first-round bye. The team will take on the winner of Hofstra and Lipscomb in the second round this Sunday. The match will take place at home at Jeffrey Field, kicking off at 5 p.m., and tickets for the matchup will go on pre-sale at the BJC office from Wednesday, November 17th at 11 a.m. to Friday, November 19th at 4 p.m. Former NFL lineman and Hall of Famer Curly Culp announced some devastating news to the fans on Tuesday. The former defensive lineman shared on Twitter that he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Culp stated in his tweet, quote, "Do donate to your local cancer organizations so this dreadful disease is eradicated. Love, life, family, and friends. Folded hands pray to God for all the physical and spiritual healing. Love, Curly Culp, HOF number 13, end quote. The 75-year-old player played 14 seasons in the league with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Houston Oilers, and the Detroit Lions. Culp was a 6-time Pro Bowler and 5-time All-Pro before his retirement in 1982 and his induction into the National Football League Hall of Fame in 2013. That's all for sports. After the break, Kaylee Grill will bring you the latest in the world of entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Kaylee Grill with your entertainment update. Sparks were literally flying in Beaver Stadium this Saturday as Penn State took on Michigan. The Wolverines' head coach, Jim Harbaugh, lit his pants on fire. Harbaugh stood a little too close to a space heater on the Beaver Stadium sidelines. He didn't notice until he addressed one of his players. He shared, quote, "Early in the game, Roman Wilson was on the bench and I was going over to ask him about the previous route that he had ran. Then all of a sudden, Dalen Baldwin says, 'Coach, your pants are on fire.' I looked down and oh my gosh, my pants are on fire." Harbaugh joked and said he would let his team know to be more vigilant of any more fiery wardrobe malfunctions. He stuck with the burned pants look through at least the first half of the game until eventually changing. The coach plans to save the pants as a keepsake of their win, noting they were pretty expensive Lululemon khakis and even mentioned cutting them into shorts. The world-famous Harlem Globetrotters will be making their way to State College, as announced today by the Bryce Jordan Center. The show will take place on March 1st, 2022 at 7 p.m. Tickets for the event went on sale this morning, Wednesday, November 17th at 10 a.m. The Globetrotters, known for their impressive basketball skills and family entertainment, are visiting as part of their Spread Game Tour. Fan participation and interaction are their priority, according to this new format. The team will stick around after the show to meet with fans and sign autographs. They previously played at the BJC shortly before the pandemic back in March of 2020. The Globetrotters aren't the only act coming to Bryce Jordan Center this spring. Comedian Bert Kirshner and singer Billie Eilish will also be performing. Britney Spears has said the hashtag Free Britney movement saved her life. Her conservatorship finally came to an end on November 12th. Yesterday, she made her first Instagram video statement, sharing, quote, "The Free Britney movement, you guys rock. Honestly, my voice was muted and threatened for so long, and I wasn't able to speak up or say anything. I honestly think you guys saved my life in a way, 100%. Under the conservatorship, the singer's father had complete control of her estimated $60 million estate, and she had little control over her personal and financial life. In her video, she said the little things made a huge difference, noting she is grateful to have the keys to her car, own an ATM card, see cash for the first time, and be able to buy candles. Spears hopes her story, though uncommon, will make an impact and make some changes in the corrupt system. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor Jace Obardo will be speaking with the new Chief Justice of UPUA's judicial branch, Andrew Waldman. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Since 2006, the University Park Undergraduate Association, also known as UPUA, has been a constant voice and advocate for the students of Penn State University. By passing legislation, campus-wide initiatives, or voicing the concerns of students to the higher-ups at the university, UPUA is committed to giving each and every Penn State students the best experience possible. Structured just like the U.S. federal government, UPUA is broken up into 3 branches: the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. Joining me in the studio today is Andrew Waldman, who will be sworn in as the judicial branch's new Chief Justice in just a few short weeks. Andrew, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So, as I said earlier, UPUA is committed to giving Penn State students the best experience possible during their time here. One of the ways they do this is by hearing issues brought to them by students and other UPUA branches. So, what types of issues does the judicial branch hear, and how do the justices go about reaching a decision for those issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Judicial Board has 2 functions. So in the fall and the spring, we act as sort of the Supreme Court for sort of the student government. Additionally, in the spring, however, we also act as the Elections Commission. In the fall, really our role as the Judicial Board is to really just solve issues between the branches and to approve new community representative seats. I know this fall we approved a new community representative seat for the Performing Arts Council, a decision that I wrote. And last year we had a hearing related to a borough council seat. In the spring, however, a lot of our job focuses on actually running the elections and also settling any elections code violations that may come up. In terms of the process of actually making those decisions, I think one of the greatest things that the Judicial Board does is we try to imitate the Supreme Court as much as we can. Yeah. We're very professional, we're very fact-oriented in terms of the decisions that we make, and we make sure to have a calm discussion on how those issues relate to the governing documents and how it relates to the students at hand.
Yeah, so I want to go back to what you said about the elections. So one of the big things that you said the judicial branch does is oversees the UPUA elections. Mm-hmm. So when it comes time for the elections in March, how do you guys plan on getting students involved and motivated to vote?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know last election there were about 3,300 voters out of a campus of over 40,000 students. I mean, personally, from my perspective, I don't think that's good enough. One of the focuses that I want to have, if I'm confirmed on December 2nd, is I really want to focus on getting out the vote for Penn State students. So one of the things that I've been looking forward to trying to do is to use our connections with some of the student organizations that we have on campus to advocate for our elections, and also to inform people that the elections are actually going on. I think last year the UPUA had a good start in terms of some of the elections reforms that they had, including a ballot system via a Qualtrics form, things along those lines. But I do think that there's a lot of work that we have to go in terms of reaching out to members of campus leadership and making sure that everybody's voice is heard.
Yeah, I mean, even voting on campus is important, and then like when it comes time for national elections, that's just as important.
Absolutely.
And I think starting at the school level to get kids involved is really important.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of experience in the legal and governmental side of things. You're a coordinator for the Penn State Mock Trial Association. You're obviously an associate justice for UPUA right now. And you were even a legislative aide in the PA House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to be able to take these experiences, and are we going to see a reflection of these experiences in your role as Chief Justice?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest reflection of sort of some of the past experiences that I've had is really going to come in terms of a level of professionalism. I know when I worked with the House of Representatives, one of the biggest things that I thought was very different about any other environment that I'd been in is just the level of care that all of the staff members in the House actually cared about the constituents, how they took everything extremely seriously, and that's one of the things that I want to bring to the judicial branch. And I think having those past experiences are really going to help sort of propel the judicial branch into a more respected and a more professional part of the student government.
Yeah, so being Chief Justice is a huge responsibility to take on, and it carries a lot of weight within the Penn State community. So how do you plan on using your platform to make an impact to make Penn State a better place?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know when I joined freshman council last year, as a first year. One of the things that I talked about in my application was how I think the point of student government is to make things better for everybody in our community. Our community at this point in time is Penn State University, so that's one of the things that I'm constantly going to be advocating for. On the judicial board, we have a little bit less of a direct impact on students of the Penn State community, as the legislature is more focused on the policy side, but we still do have a role. One of the big things that I'm looking forward to initiating in terms of the judicial board is sort of making sure that there's a more organized structure for how the judicial board is supposed to run moving forward. I know right now we have these sort of spoken word precedents on how we're supposed to do everything. One of the things that I'm going to work on is sort of making sure that all of those precedents are written down so that way moving forward, future judicial boards can have the same success that we do.
Yeah, and you talked about bettering the Penn State community. That extends even beyond campus and State College itself, because, I mean, Penn State's communities reaches across the whole world.
Right, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. I think what you're doing is very important, and just what UPUA does in general is so important for Penn State. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
For more information on your student government, visit upua.org. We will be right back.
Sandy Hook families suing InfoWars founder Alex Jones have won a case against him after a judge ruled against Jones, who has failed to comply with the discovery process. Jones and entities owned by him were found liable by default Monday in a defamation case against them after Connecticut Superior Court Judge Barbara Bellis cited the defendant's willful noncompliance with the discovery process as her core reasoning behind the ruling. Jones had not turned over financial and analytics data requested multiple times by the Sandy Hook family plaintiffs. At the virtual hearing, Bellis said, quote, "All the defendants have failed to fully and fairly comply with their discovery obligations," end quote. Jones was being sued by families of Sandy Hook victims in both Texas and Connecticut courts over his past claims that the 2012 mass shooting was staged. He has since acknowledged that the shooting was real.
The Salvator Mundi, which is the world's most expensive painting to have ever been sold, has been downgraded by the Museum of Prada in Spain. This downgrade comes as the museum claims the work is not an original piece of Leonardo da Vinci and that he only supervised it. The painting was sold in 2017 for $450 million to the Saudi Prince Badr bin Abdullah. Many believe that there is a lost prototype of da Vinci's work, while others believe that his original work does not exist. In the museum's catalog, the Prada's verdict states the painting is a form of attributed works that was supervised by the artist.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.